Hello everybody and welcome to round 18 of SNR. My name's Kieran McGinley and today we are taking you through round 18, which is Mexico. 3 races to go in this championship and well, still all to play for, although there may be a 28-point gap between our two rivals at the top. It's still all to play for. Obviously, I have been away for some time from this series, so welcome back. If you have missed, which you have, Malaysia and Japan, which I was, sorry, not Malaysia, Japan I was absent for. We had AJ to the P winning his first race. We also had Bravo there in second, and then on the podium as well was Rockatoni, I do believe. Yes, Rockatoni got a podium in that race. So apologies for missing that race. Technical issues and the flu meant I couldn't cover last week's race. But today I'm hoping that my voice holds out and that we'll be able to give you a great race today. Speaking of which, we're going to go through the drivers' standings now. So you can see at the top of the table, that's Darren Sinclair. He's been in great form this season on 266. Chelsea Boy behind him, 28 points behind to be exact. And Chelsea Boy basically has to make sure that he stays within 50 points of Darren Sinclair by the end of this weekend. Otherwise, Darren Sinclair will be crowned champion today. Bravo, they're in third. He's 105 points behind, but he's on 161. Then we have the Gort there on 147, Heffy on 85, then we've got Zippo on 84, White Samba there on 70 points, Himcar on 56, we've got Rockatoni there on 55, 1 point behind Himcar, so that'll be an interesting battle. Then we have W4, he's on 36 points, then we have Rocket there on 35, Jensen there on 28 points. Then we have Titium on 26. Also on 26 points is DK. We've got Georgie Davey there on 23 points. Shug M on 21 points. We have North Star there, 2 points. Then we have Spark Bobster on 1 point. ESP Crisp, I'm just going to call you Creep. They're on 1 point, and we have NATO at the bottom there with 0 points, but making his debut at the USA last time out. We also have AJ to the P there as a reserve driver. He has 55 points, which would put him one behind. In fact, we put him level with Rockatoni there. So he's had a good season, but he is a reserve driver, only in the championship if there is no one else there. So that's your driver standings. We'll move on to the constructor standings now, and as you can see, we've got Sauber at the top there with 337 points. Not far behind is Williams, 4 points exactly behind a Williams. So this constructors is far from over. McLaren there in third with 14 points behind on 323. Then we have Mercedes on 273, Red Bull on 104. It's a bit of a golfing class there, but the battle there for 5th place is still heating up between Toro Rosso, who are on 79. Then we have Force India there on 78. We then have Haas on 73, Renault on 58, and at the bottom Ferrari on 29 points. So all that's left to do before qualifying is to tell you a little bit about the track. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, named after the Rodriguez brothers, who were Mexican after they both fatally crashed in different time periods, one in 1968, the other in the 1970s. It's an unfortunate, but when the track reopened in 1992, they decided to name it after the brothers there, Hermanos Rodriguez. That's why it has its name. And it's a very interesting circuit. You've got one huge straight, and the low air pressures in real life make it that the cars can actually reach around about 370 kilometers an hour. That's 230 for my metric using friends. In this game, though, unlikely we're going to see those speeds, which means we're unlikely to get the real close lap times. We had 1:17 from Sebastian Vettel during the race. It's highly unlikely we're going to see any lap times close to that, but We can only hope. Yes, your overtaking places, turn 1, 2 and 3, always an interesting place going into turn 1 for the very first time. Expect drivers to be taking that grass shortcut to take advantage of any drivers who suddenly go wide. You've also got the opportunity into turns 4 and 5. Make sure you have the outside line there because you'll have the inside line for the next 2 corners. And then it's pretty much single file through 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 through those S's. It's all about getting that corner string right. It's all about getting the flow and getting the consistency throughout those corners. And then you're heading into the stadium section. From turn 12 there, you'll come right into the baseball stadium for 13, 14, 15. You get to be greeted by the entire crowd, and on the last lap you'll be greeted by a flurry of confetti. And then you're heading around 16, 17. The slight banking there helps to get you out of that corner. Watch for the exit on 16 though. You don't want to be hitting any curbs, otherwise you will spin up those rear tyres, and unfortunately, like Pierre Gasly, and unfortunately, like a Force India driver who shall not be named, lost it into the wall there during his first practice session, which leads you straight back onto the start-finish straight. 2 DRS zones between turn 17 and turn 1, also known as the start-finish straight, and between turns 3 and 4, either your DRS straight. So, it's always a fun track, this one, Mexico. It's always a pleasure to race on. As Nico Rosberg called it, it's just like a big go-kart track, and it's just so much fun. And I'm sure with these drivers here, it's one of the favourites as well. You may think though that you might want to have low drag for this circuit. Quite the opposite. You want to have a balanced car. Although you have the long straight, during qualifying you do have the DRS zones, which negates all of that drag you're creating. As well as that, you've got to have the downforce to make it through the S's through 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. If you don't have the downforce to even come close to making those corners, you're going to be ruining your lap time. Not only that, you're going to be ruining your race pace and ruining your tyres, as well as you're overworking them to get through the S's. So, pretty simple design, but actually, when you think about it, it's a pretty good racetrack to be having the third to last race of this season of SNR. And well, what is there left to say other than to head into qualifying, which is coming up after this edit. Whew. So 12 minutes of the qualifying here in Mexico. Well, it's been a close battle all season between Darren Sinclair and Chelsea Boy, with 28 points separating them. It's all to play for still. Most people would rule Chelsea Boy out of the running, but if previous races have served me well, and they do, you shouldn't rule anything out in Formula 1 until the last checkered flag falls in Abu Dhabi. Well, with only 3 races to go, it really is all to play for. As we see a Toro Rosso leaving the pit lane now. And I'm going to take a wild guess. Well, it's either going to be Rocket or Jensen. And it's Rocket. So we're going to ride on board now with the Red Bull here of Hefe. So let's get all of these telemetry details up then. So, this is, well, obviously, as you know, it's the third to last race in the series this season. And, well, advantage is in Darren Sinclair's hands. Now, obviously, all Chelsea Boy has to do is finish in the points to get this to the next race. If he doesn't, and Darren Sinclair wins the race today, Darren Sinclair will be crowned champion of SNR this season. So the pressure is on Chelsea Boy to try and just finish today, but that does leave it open to Chelsea Boy, or that does leave it open, to Darren Sinclair, because the pressure is off him right now. He doesn't have to push as hard, but knowing Darren Sinclair, he will be pushing hard, that's for sure. Rocket did go wide there, so I'm not sure if this lap is going to count, because if you're on an out lap like this, it can invalidate this and the next lap, which completely throws off your qualifying lap. But he is going to go for it though. So no penalty for Rocket here, as he starts his first lap of the session, and ultimately the first lap of the session. We see a Sauber there leaving the pit lane. As you see there, 211 miles an hour from Rocket just before the break for turn 1. So as you see then, obviously we're not going to get those speeds you get in actual Formula 1, but hey, we get the I think personally we get better racing in these sort of sim racing scenarios, as Rocket now heads down into 4-5 and then into that hairpin of turn 6. Always difficult to get the traction right, as exactly what's happened to Rocket there, as just a little bit too early on the throttle there as he heads out of that section. So he now heads in towards the S's. Crucial to get this point right. You have to really be confident in the car and its handling in order to tackle that set of S's correctly. But it seems okay so far. Maybe he didn't want that mistake, Rocket, but we'll see what happens here as he heads through to the stadium section now. It's always amazing going through this section, even on a sim racing game, just to see how many people Codemasters actually animated into the game. But as Rocket heads round the final corner now, heads towards the line, and it's 1:21.6 from Rocket, as we now see Heffy here, going to be the second person to set a lap. Well, no, sorry, Heimkarl is the second person to set a lap, 1:18.2 as you can see there. We're going to see Heffy round the final corner, crosses the line, apparently to start another lap, but he is on the super soft tyres. We'll have a see if we can find someone else on a lap. We've got Sugar M there, 1:18.5. Let's have a look at the championship lead. Second place in the championship, 1:16.7 from Chelsea Boy. That is a fantastic lap, and he's really inviting Darren Sinclair. We've got Rocker Tony here, who has spun it, coming out of, I believe, that is the last part of the S's. As you can see, there's a major problem with the steering. Oh, there goes the tyre. There it goes. Yeah, so he's obviously lost that and gone straight into the wall. So Rockatoni not going to set a qualifying lap today. That's unfortunate for him, as the wheel is in the endless abyss of between the track and underneath it. But as we're riding on board with White Samba here, as he makes his way around the track, Darren Sinclair, the championship leader, still in the pits. We'll have a see if anybody else is closer to the line. The Gort there, 1:17.2. Geordie Davey, 1:17.7 on the super softs. As we're now going to ride on board with White Samba as he rounds 16 and 17, sorry. As he heads towards the line, it's a 1:18.3, puts him P6. W4 on his lap. We're going to have a look-see at Heffy, who set a 1:18.5 on super soft tyres. Still, Chelsea Boy 1:16.7. That is a huge lap time. As we see Spark Bobster there go to P8 for 1:18.2. We'll have a look-see W4 here on his lap as he heads now towards that stadium section. Into turn 12 he goes. Running just a little bit wide on the curb there. It won't cost him too much time, as you're in second gear here around the stadium section. Shift up through the gears to make sure you've got the optimum traction. And we've got yellow flags in sector 1 as W4 heads into the pit lane, and that's Heimkarl. Heimkarl is out of the session. My goodness, he's taken some speed into there. I think he's just taken a bit too much, because he's taken both tyres on the right hand side off the car. That is a huge impact for Heimkarl. Absolutely huge. As we see someone running desperately wide there. Huge collision there with the wall for Heimkarl. Well, he's out of the session now, which is unfortunate for him. We'll see if we can ride on board with some others. We see Shug M here, and I'm thinking he's heading back to the pits on his outlap. We've got Zippo here on P6, diving well out of the way of the car behind to make sure he doesn't interfere with the lap time. So this is Wata Titium rounding that stadium section and heading into 16 and 17. Be careful on the throttle there, the car will bite at you as he crosses the line to start another lap. I really do hate that graphic sometimes. It's really misleading on who's actually on an outlap. It needs to say outlap until they've crossed that start-finish line, but never mind. We'll see if someone else is on a lap. We'll see about Heffy. Not quite sure if he's on a lap. Certainly seems like it. As he loses that back end. Oh, keep it in check, Heffy. As he runs wide, saves the car though. And it's fair to say that lap will be abandoned. As he runs wide again, keep it out of the wall, Heffy. Oh, he's clouded the wall there. Might have some front wing damage. As we see... I believe that was Darren Sinclair. Yes, it is Darren Sinclair on a lap now. He's on his out lap on those super soft tyres, so he's going to try and take a different strategy. Are we going to see a Sinclair one stop for this one as well? As he rounds 16-17 to start his lap. We'll have a look at Titium, who's in the stadium section now, and we'll have a see if what he can do. We've also got Jensen on a lap as well. Keeping on the track, Jensen. W4 then on the lap as well, but Titium rounds that final corner across the line at 1:19.7, but it didn't display on the timing screen, so that means that lap was penalised and therefore invalidated, but he's going to go for another try. As we see now, Darren Sinclair, your championship leader, rounding into 4 and 5 and into the hairpin here of turn 6. Now heads through to the S's. How will he tackle this? Well, it looks like he's got a car that can easily handle the S's here. Just throws it in so confidently. He's got the grip. As he heads through sector 2 now. 28.7. As we see Chelsea Boy come back out onto the track for his attempt on a new set of Ultrasofts, I can only assume. But Darren Sinclair now coming around that final corner, and Jensen has retired from the session. We'll see that in just a second. Darren Sinclair 1:16.7, but only 0.04 of a second behind. We'll have a see about Jensen, what's happened to him. He has pulled over to the side. I believe he's just retired from the session. Nothing more than that. Yet he has just pulled over to the side of the track and decided that job is done. We see White. Let's have a look at Darren Sinclair. Is he still pushing for another lap? No, he's not. Going up the gears very, very carefully here. He may be just cruising around this time, and we'll go full attack on another lap. Meanwhile, the Gort here, not sure if he's on a flying lap or not, but we will ride on board. And what's the lap going to be? 1:16.9, puts himself P3. As we're now going to see Spark Bobster as well, heading into the S's. White Samba here, coming around that final corner. What time is he going to set? Well, I should have really known that he wasn't on a flying lap, but there we go. Let's see about Titium as he rounds the S's. We've got Rocket as well out there, W4. Can he finally put down a banker lap at least as he rounds the final corner? His tyres are going to be shot, but can he put a time on the board? He can, 1:17.6, and puts him P4. So he got there in the end. As we're now going to see Chelsea Boy on his lap here. So I'm not sure when he crossed that start-finish line, but I'm sure he's got time for another lap if he needs it. We are going to have a look at Darren Sinclair as well. Keep an eye on those two. They are the two to watch. The Gort as well, only 0.2 behind, so keep an eye out for the Gort as well as he rounds again, a 10th faster through the second sector. Not gonna quite be enough to put him on pole unless he can nail this exit correctly as he heads towards the line now. It's a 1:16.8, and I'm not sure if he's going to get another chance. He's not. He backs off. So that's him done for the day, and he does go into the menu and retire from the session as Chelsea Boy goes even faster. 1:16.3 from Chelsea Boy, as that's his job done. Now what can Darren Sinclair do? 1:16.3 to beat from Chelsea Boy. That is an amazingly quick lap from Chelsea Boy, but can Darren Sinclair do anything about it as he heads through the S's now? Is he up on his delta? That's a question. Heads through the S's now, through turn 12, using all the track as he can, as much as he can. He's only 0.05 up on his own time, so we're going to have to see. He runs wide going through turn 12 there, and into 13, 14, 15, the slight kink there, it does count as a corner. And Darren Sinclair tries to get that wide exit and heads towards the line, and it's not quicker. It is not quicker. Spark Bobster now in 4th place. He is, I believe he's done for the session. Yes, he is. That's an AI controlled car. So let's have a look on board. Zippo, who puts it P6 with a 1:17.7. White Samba is the last person then to set a lap time during this session. He'll round into the stadium section. What sort of time can he set? Can he knock Team Car out of the top 10? He rounds that final corner, heads towards the line. What can he do? No, he will stay P11. So Chelsea Boy then will take pole position for round 18 of SNR. And he's in the pit lane, so I can't really do anything about that. Darren Sinclair, though, will start in P2 as his AI rams into the back of W4 and then into the back of Spark Bobster. These are definitely AI controlled now. Spark Bobster there in P4. Great qualifying session for him as Ferrari look to try and get themselves off the bottom of the table. W4 there crashing out. I'm not sure if that was AI controlled or not, but there we go. W4 will start in 5th place. Zippo starts in 6th. Geordie Davey in the garage, he will start in 7th place. Shug M in 8th, DK in 9th. Heemkar will hold on to 10th place, but he will have to choose a different set of tyres. But there we go. White Samba then will start in 11th. Couldn't quite improve on his time. Tatian will start in P12, Heffy in 13th, Jensen in 14th, Rocket Queen 15th, and Rockatoni did not set a lap time and will start P16. So then, your classified results. Chelsea Boy leads the way. Darren Sinclair on the Super Softs, though, will start in 2nd place. The Gort in 3rd. Spark Bobster in 4th. W4 in 5th. Zippo in 6th there. Geordie Davey on Super Softs will start in 7th. Shug M in 8th. DK on Super Softs starts in P9. Heemkar will start in 10th place. White Samba in 11th. Titium in 12th. Heffy on the Super Softs will start in P13, but he will have free range of tyres. Jensen there in 14th. Rocket Queen 15th. And Rockatoni did not set a time. He will start from 16th place. Stay tuned for the race, which is after this edit. Quite a few nerves going around the paddock here, I'm pretty sure, as Darren Sinclair starts on the front row of the grid, 2nd place, but he is on the super soft tyres, so watch out for that Sinclair one-stop special. I'm pretty sure he'll try and pull it off today. The thing about Mexico is that it is an aggressive kart on the tyres, so Chelsea Boy will probably be looking at a 2-stop and trying to make that work. But okay, we'll have to wait and see what happens. Round 18 of SNR, we're about to go racing. So we've got here the 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go there as Chelsea Boy gets a decent start. Darren Sinclair not quite so, as he's under attack from the Ferrari there. We're going to see now, it's a long straight down into turn 1. And let's see what happens here. Can they keep it clean through turn 1? As Chelsea Boy will keep the inside line, Darren Sinclair will try and go around the outside. They're going 3 wide behind them there. As Ferrari of Spark Bobster, I believe, up into 3rd place. That's a brilliant start from Spark Bobster, as it looks all clean at the moment, coming through the first few laps. And well, Chelsea Boy has managed to stay ahead. Darren Sinclair there in 2nd. That is Spark Bobster up into 3rd place. We have a look further behind at the battle here. We can see a Sauber has lost part of his front wing. I believe that's White Samba who's lost a bit of that front wing. Let's have a look on board with him. Yeah, more front wing goes flying as, yes, that is the Sauber. That is White Samba with half a front wing, and that's a disaster for him. Well, we're going to have a look at the tyres everybody's on. Rockatoni is on the soft tyres, but look how much that front wing is affecting White Samba here. He just hasn't got the downforce to go full throttle through the S's. He's going to have to pit in. He's not on the pace at all, and that's a disaster for him. Well, we'll see if he comes into the pits at the moment, though. Yes, he does come into the pits. And, well, strategy change. He's going to put on some soft tyres here and try and go to the end of the race. Remember, in SNR, there's no safety car. So if you have a race like this, you've just got to hope that incidents happen ahead. We've also got Heemkarl into the pits as well in that Renault. and he's going to have to change his front wing as well. He puts on super softs. Let's see what White Samba puts on. He's going to put on another set of ultra softs. So obviously he's going to go aggressive now, that's for sure. Himcar on the super softs. He will have to stop again. Meanwhile, at the front, we've got Chelsea Boy leading the way from Darren Sinclair. They're opening up a gap towards Spark Bobster, but he is under pressure from the Gort, who lies behind, ready to pounce. Spark Bobster had an excellent start, and he's just going to try and hold on for third place now, under attack from the Gort, who is all over the back of him. You can see Geordie Davey running slightly wide there as he tries to push the car to its limit, and they head towards the stadium section now. We've actually got a battle behind as well. Here's Shug M on the back of W4, and in fact Invader Zipper as well. It's just a I hate to say a train, but it sort of is a train all the way down. That you can see there to Titium. Well, look at them. They're all in single file as they head through now onto lap 3. DRS will be enabled this lap, as the Gort is going to try and have a look down the inside. No, thinks better of it. And Darren Sinclair gets a 3-second time penalty, probably from the creative use of track limits there. Is I think what the engineer tells you anyway. We've got the Gort here having just trying to find a way around, but he's actually hit the back of Spark Bobster there. Not sure he meant that intentionally, of course. But is the car okay for the Gort? You can, well, around this track it's very, very difficult to take front wing damage and to keep it in check. Let's have a look, see if he's actually trying to lift off. He is trying to lift off, and yes, that front wing has affected him. So, well, now what's the decision? Does he try and pit in? As Invader Zippo there, well, I'm not quite sure what's happened. Something's happened between himself and Water Titium, and Himkarl there is out of the race. And he's hit the wall. I'm not quite sure how that's happened, but he must have hit the right-hand side wall coming out of. Well, actually, I'm finding that hard to explain. Actually, the Gort there coming into the pits. That front wing is too damaged, and he needs to change it. Well, that's going to change up the strategy. On goes some soft tyres for him, and Water Titium comes into the pits as well. It'll be interesting to see what happened between Water Titium and sorry, not White Samba. I believe it was Zippo. Yes, it was Invader Zippo. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to those two as we see Rocker Tony into the pits now. Well, the pit lane is full of drama right now. On go another set of soft tyres, this time onto Rocker Tony, as Heffy's into the pits as well. Well, I'm not sure what the hold up there was for the Mercedes driver there, and I'm not quite sure what's happening to my camera here. There we go, it's working now, as we've got Darren Sinclair going very, very fishtaily towards the back there, and Chelsea Boy is starting to open up a gap. But as that's front wing damage I see to Darren Sinclair on the front left-hand side. I believe that is front wing damage to Darren Sinclair. Well, what's he going to do here? Is he going to come into the pits? He is going to come into the pits, and that's a huge spanner into the works for this championship event. And well, Darren Sinclair into the pits now. He's surely going to go on the soft tyres and try and go to the end of the race. But no, on go another set of they on go the soft tyres. The game likes to trick you there for a split second, but this is costing Darren Sinclair a huge amount of time, and he exits the pit lane. But where will he rejoin on the track here? It's a long road, the front straightaway, and he will rejoin in 9th place there, but advantage to Chelsea Boy now, as Geordie Davey is still on the back of Spark Bobster. This now the battle for 2nd place, and we've got yellow flags in sector 2. We'll have a look and see who that is. I think it was just someone running wide, but there's DK there in 4th place on the super soft tyres. Geordie Davey is rampant. He's right on the back of Spark Bobster. He's going to try and go up the inside. Jensen is out of the race, but we're going to stay for this battle here as Geordie Davey goes down the inside of Spark Bobster. Doesn't leave him much room, but that's a great move to get up into P2. And now he can try and chase down the leader of the race, Chelsea Boy. Well, Chelsea Boy here. Whoa, that's a Toro Rosso in the wall there. And Chelsea Boy's lost a bit of front wing. He's into the pits now. Well, I have to say I was not expecting this. And if you'd have told me at the beginning of this race, Geordie Davey would be leading the race, I'd have called you mad. But there's another McLaren. Heffy's in the pits. And now Chelsea Boy has to wait. And he's got to wait another 5 seconds now before they can work on the car. Well, on goes some super soft tyres for Chelsea Boy. No, soft tyres, sorry. Soft tyres for Chelsea Boy. Super softs for Darren Sinclair. He will rejoin behind him and behind the Gort. Well, this is an insane race so far. Geordie Davey finds himself leading it. Spark Bobster's there in second. DK in third. Shug M in fourth place. W4 in fifth. Under pressure behind from GN Rocket Queen, who's going to try and take a wider line and try and get a better exit out of turn 6 as we head towards the S's now. Not really an overtaking place this, just be aware of the dirty air. And we've got yellow flags in sector 2 as Spark Bobster's lost it. He's in third place and lost a position to Shug M as he's caused a massive accident there. I don't think that was much his fault, but he has collected a car there. I think that was Rocket Queen he collected. Well, he is out of the race. And he just lost it, tried to rejoin the track there, and unfortunately for him, he's caused a collision. And he's out of the race. Rocket Queen, does he have any damage? I don't think he does. I think Rocket Queen's very lucky there to get away with no damage whatsoever. And he's lost the back end though. And that's a Sauber going slowly of White Samba. Well, I mean, this is hectic to say the least. White Samba there is... letting Chelsea Boy through without much of a fight there, as Darren Sinclair is now on the back of the Gort. DRS, well, I mean, the Gort there's got a 5-second penalty for ignoring a yellow flag, so I think he's actually overtaken Darren Sinclair under a yellow flag, and he's going to have to let him back through, and he does. Not without making it slightly difficult for Darren Sinclair, but he's going to try and again up the inside. He's going to try Lewis Hamilton, let him in front for one corner and then try and attack him again. But Darren Sinclair has DRS as they head down towards turn 4 now. We've got yellow flags in sector 2 and we've got DK out of the race. Speed 2 in the race is out, and has he collected anyone with him? I'm not too sure. His car has ghosted, so everything's okay. Geordie Davey though still leads the race. Shug M is in second. W4 is in third. Invader Zippo in fourth. Darren Sinclair will find him fifth. Whoa, this is a hectic race so far. And it's only lap 8. Incredible stuff. If you'd have told me Geordie Davey, Shug M and W4 would be your leading front 3 on the 8th lap, I'd have called you mad. But, well, it's been incidents galore so far as... that's Shug M in the pits, and I think this is a planned stop. I think this is our first strategic stop of the day. Shug M comes in for a new set of ultra softs. He's managed to last them 8 laps, so he might be again on lap 16. Obviously, the tyres are harsh. The tyre wear is harsh in this racetrack, so that will probably be why. But Geordie Davey finds himself at the front on the super soft tyres, yet to make a pit stop. Darren Sinclair finds himself back into 4th place, and this is going to be one heck of a race. We find Chelsea Boy down there in P8, as that's Rocket Queen getting it wrong there, and Chelsea Boy gets the position. So now he's up into P7, and well, he's a way away from Darren Sinclair, but he is on the soft tyres, so that might play into his advantage towards the end of the race. Rocket Tony finds himself just outside the points, but Titium there in 11th place, chasing down White Samba. And White Samba's had a disastrous start as he loses the back end again. That just opens up Titium to have another go as they come out of turn 6 and head towards the S's neck and neck. But let's see what happens here. Titium, is he going to be patient here to try and wait it out, or will he go for the attack into the stadium section? He runs a little wide, and that's going to cost him time towards White Samba. That's where the lack of grip comes into play. But Invader Zippo comes into the pits now and puts on a set of super soft tyres. So that is his first stop. That's a strategic stop. And he'll rejoin on the super soft tyres. Well, it has been hectic so far. Chelsea Boy moves up to 6th place W4 they're getting a 3-second time penalty. So, to recap then, on lap 9, Geordie Davey leads the way, 12.3 ahead of W4, who's there in second place on the ultra soft tyres. Darren Sinclair in third place, managing to recover so far during this race, having taken some slight front wing damage early on. The Gort there finds himself in fourth place on the soft tyres. Shug M is in fifth, Chelsea Boy in sixth, Invader Zippo there in seventh, Rocket Queen in eighth, Titium there in ninth has fallen away from Rocket Queen. Rockatoni taking 10th place. White Samba's not far behind. He's trying to close in on Rockatoni. And Heffy there in 12th place finds himself, I would say, a lap down. Is he? Yes, he is a lap down on lap 10. So not a great day for McLaren when it comes to Heffy. And Chelsea Boy there in 6th place. So for McLaren then, it is, well, it's not been a great day. It's been a good day so far to Geordie Davey though. I mean, finding himself leading the way after 10 laps. So the thing about it now is the start of the race and the sort of race has well, clearly got underway. So it's all about keeping your concentration now as Titium there finding himself heading towards Rocket Queen once again. This is your closest battle in the field. And DK, well, sorry, I thought he retired from the session there. He's just left the session. As we're heading through the S's now. Sorry, not the S's. We're heading through turn 1, 2 and 3 there as we head towards turn 4 in the second DRS straight. And Titium trying to close the gap between Rocket Queen. And, well, these two here are going to have a mighty battle. This the battle for 8th place. And Heffy there at the bottom of the leaderboard. Well, it's not over till the checkered flag falls. We've already seen 2 of the race leaders head into the wall. We've seen Spark Bobsterer and DK both retire from 2nd place. And W4 there gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which must mean he's in the pits. Here he comes. On goes some super soft tyres. And away he goes again. He must be frustrated with that penalty there. It's just a simple case of sometimes you just forget that you haven't got that assist on or whatever, and you can easily get yourself with a 5-second penalty and a slap on the wrist. But we have Geordie Davey leading the way, and we're going to have all of this enabled here. So according to strategy that I clearly just didn't look up now, Geordie Davey is yet to pit on lap 12 to 15. That's this sort of window for super soft tyres. Now if that's the case then we are looking at a 2-stop race rather than a 1-stop. That's being conservative as well, if you're being conservative on those tyres. But will Geordie Davey pit? He will pit, and in he comes. So your race leader in the pits. Now where will he rejoin? It'll be interesting to see where he rejoins and what tyres he decides to put on. On go another set of super softs, I believe. No, ultra softs. Ultra softs are the tyre of choice for Geordie Davey there as he heads towards the pit lane exit. And where is Darren Sinclair? There he is. Is that him? No, that's a McLaren. So Geordie Davey finds himself in front of Darren Sinclair, and that is huge here. Well, can Darren Sinclair find a way past? The Gort there is going to be looking dead on. Is he going to try and find a way past? Titium there, well, I thought that was an overtake on Rocket Queen. We see Invader Zippo there getting past W4. Just missed that one. I've missed a flurry of moves there. But is that problems there for one of the Saubers? Or is that a Haas? I think that's W4. Yes, he has ghosted. So I'm not quite sure if he's in the start menu or if he's run out of batteries in his controller or whatever. But he finds himself ghosted, which means he'll still be doing laps around the circuit. Meanwhile though, Geordie Davey lapping a McLaren there. And that is of Heffy, I do believe. And he goes into the stadium section now, and he's building that gap towards Darren Sinclair. Geordie Davey leading the way then. And if I have a look at the drivers' standings, He's only done 3 races this season, and he finished in the points in all of them, 10th, 4th and 5th. This is a real chance for Geordie Davey here to come away with a race victory. If I've read that table right, that is. I believe I have. Yes, I have. 10th, 4th and 5th for him so far. So this is a huge opportunity for him to take a race win. Can he hold his nerve? It's not like he's coming up against the championship leader or anything. The Gort there in 3rd place. He is staying there or thereabouts for Darren Sinclair. And he is on the soft tyres as well. Darren Sinclair picks up another time penalty. Now that's all going to add up towards the end of the race. And if Darren Sinclair isn't careful, those penalties do add up to get you disqualified. You can be disqualified for too many of those penalties. Shug M there in 4th place. 4.8 behind the Gort. Is he closing the gap at all? In fact, the gap's getting bigger. So, well, there we have it. Shug M there in 4th place. Chelsea Boy in 5th place on the soft tyres, closing the gap to Shug M. Now that's going to be a good battle to watch. Ultra soft versus soft tyre. 2 compounds different. Geordie Davey sets the fastest lap of the race, 1:19.3. As we see here, Chelsea Boy really closing that gap towards Shug M. As Shug M pits now, Chelsea Boy takes 4th place and is on a charge here to try and close the gap on the Gort. So Shug M in again and puts on the super soft tyres. He took front wing damage, that's why he's in earlier than expected. He puts on the ultra softs. Yes, he puts on some ultra soft tyres. So once again, he's going out on ultra soft tyres. It'll be interesting to see which driver can walk away with the fewest visits to the pit lane here. But W4 still ghosted, I do believe. Yes, he is. I'm not sure whether he's left the session or not, but that will be a concern. As he look around for the closest battle, we've got White Samba closing in on Rockatoni. 1.1 separating them. This is your closest battle in the field right now, so we're going to stick with it. White Samba there getting a 3-second time penalty for that latest track excursion. And White Samba, is he getting any closer to Rockatoni? He's 2/10 up on his own time. So he is closing that gap. Rockatoni getting a little tail happy there. But we shall wait and see what White Samba can do as he's on the tail of Rockatoni and closing the gap ever so slightly each lap. Working away at that lap time. Working away at that interval. Well, he's missed the last part of that corner there. He's redefining Mexico, I think, there, White Samba. As we have a look aboard Shug M there. Oh, well, I thought that was an overtake there, but it's not. It's just Shug M going through W4. Chelsea Boy getting a 3-second time penalty. So, well, yeah, it seems like just pick up penalties and that's fine. White Samba is 1.1 behind Rockatoni. 7/10 down on his lap time. That could be tyre deg though. But as we see, heading into lap 15, Darren Sinclair with another time penalty. He is in 2nd place, 4 seconds behind Geordie Davey. So Geordie Davey is opening up that gap. And the Gort is not far behind Darren Sinclair. Chelsea Boy there with 7.8 behind the Gort. So he is there or thereabouts. As we have a look towards the leader, you can see that Chelsea Boy is 13.9 behind Geordie Davey. Zippo there getting a 3-second time penalty. As Rockatoni there getting past W4, who is now back in the game, I believe. Yes, he is. He's solid. So that means he's racing once again. But he's lost a lot of time. But can he get past Rockatoni as a first step here? With White Samba directly behind them, W4 is going to push the car to its limits here as he's trying to find the gap towards Rockatoni. Rockatoni did run wide through that final corner and it's going to compromise his exit as W4 has DRS on Rockatoni. Can he find a way past? A long straight. And he's going to have a go, is he? No, he's not. Thinks better of it. couldn't quite catch him along that straight there, but he's got a second DRS straight that he can try that on. But he's got to be careful about the White Samba behind him as well, who could easily swipe and take up a position or two if these two aren't careful. I say that Sauber driver runs deep there, and Roccatoni runs wide. Perfect opportunity for W4 to go up the inside and take that position. It's not over yet though. Roccatoni has a much better exit, and now through the S's they're going to be side by side as Heffy retires from the session, as Roccatoni there trying to push W4 off the track there, but W4 holds the position. Heffy is out of the race, and that sums up a really dismal day for him. He was a lap down, and he's just pushed the car too hard and hit the wall. Down to 11 drivers now. We're going to go back on board with the White Samba, who's also overtaken Roccatoni. As we see here, Roccatoni come into the pits now, and he will come in. I'm not sure if he's damaged front wing or not. No, it's a strategy stop. So on go a set of super softs. Was that I saw? Was it ultra softs? It was ultra softs. There we go. As now White Samba, let's have a ride on board with him as he closes in for W4. Running very wide there, as we still have yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. So we're going to see if we have anyone off. I don't think we do, so that's just yellow flags there still. Probably from the debris from Heffy there, but there we are. So Shug M now closing in on Water Titium, and we have the green flag there, so it is just where the incident where Heffy collected the wall was. Water Titium there runs slightly deep, and Shug M has a chance here. Is he going to wait for the DRS zone? He is. But he's in that slipstream now. Water Titium trying to defend as hard as he can here. And I don't think Water Titium is going to have much to defend with as the DRS opens for Shug M. He moves up into 6th place. And will he take the racing line? He will. He is ahead. But Water Titium, will he have a go up the inside? No, he doesn't. So Shug M moves up into 6th place now on those ultra soft tyres. He's going for a really, really aggressive strategy. So it's important that he made that move stick. And he does make that move stick. So the Gore is staying with Darren Sinclair, surprisingly, on those soft tyres. So this is a great piece of driving from Roccatoni, is out of the session. Well, he's pulled into the garage here. I'm not quite sure if the team are going to let him out. They're not. Well, there he goes. But Roccatoni has retired from the session. So we have yellow flags in all sectors now. As Roccatoni there, I'm not quite sure what the AI is doing here. A little bit confused, but once they reach the pit exit, maybe something will happen. As he heads towards that pit exit, no, the AI is just going to pull to one side and retire the car. So we have a yellow flag from Heffy's incident, green flag through the stadium section, and then we have the yellow flags from then on. But it's interesting though, because Heffy's incident has still meant that part of the track is still under yellow flags, unless that's a glitch with my spectator cam. That's all I'm seeing. Meanwhile though, White Samba closing in on W4, and this will be the battle for 8th place. As we see now, White Samba running a little bit wide there. That's going to compromise the exit ever so slightly. We ride with the Gort now as he rounds that final corner, sticking with Darren Sinclair like he has. And Darren Sinclair comes into the pits now. So the Gort will take 2nd place, and Geordie Davey leading the way. White Samba is coming towards his next rival W4, but as we see Darren Sinclair on the soft tyres, so Darren Sinclair now going to the end of the race. So what will Chelsea boy do now? He is on the soft tyres, but will he make it to the end of the race? My telemetry doesn't tell me much, it just says lap 9 to 12. So, but if he were to rejoin, as you can see there, if he were to pit, he would rejoin behind Darren Sinclair. That's what the game's telling him. So, bit of a risky move here, but we'll see the gap between him and Darren Sinclair, see if it gets any bigger or if it shortens, and we'll see what happens. White Samba though is closing on W4. Lap by lap, just taking just a 10th and a 10th out every single time. And we shall have a see here what he can do. It's just trying to get into the DRS zone now for White Samba. It's, the constructors table is being lit up right now. McLaren will already have a non-finisher today. That's not going to help their chances in the championship. Meanwhile, Sauber's still at the top. We've also got Williams. So we have I'm trying to think who was in the Williams now. Oh well, I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. Invader Zippo there in 5th place in that Mercedes. We have Shug M in 6th, we've got Wata Titium in 7th, W4 there in 8th, White Samba in 9th, Rocket Queen in 10th. We've only got 10 runners right now after a hectic first few laps. Interestingly, when is Geordie Davey going to pit? Assuming it will be his last pit stop of the race, we probably will be seeing he put on the super soft tyres. Either that or we'll play it safe and go for the soft tyres. 8.9 separates him and the Gort, so we will have a see. Does he pit in now? He does pit in. So Geordie Davey into the pits now, and what tyres is he going to put on? In he comes. Super softs are ready, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're the tyres that are going on. We'll see now as he exits the pit lane. Super softs are the tyre he's put on, and the Gort is coming in as well. So Chelsea Boy takes the lead of the race, but for how long? As Geordie Davey rejoins the track, Darren Sinclair there coming down the pit straight, and he'll see Geordie Davey rejoin, and he'll be immensely frustrated with that as well, as well, he's 4.5 behind. He will be closing tremendously down this straight because of the speed difference. But we will see here the Gort there now on the super soft tyres going to the end of the race. So the Gort and Geordie Davey taking that same strategy now, taking the super soft to the end of the race. Shug M though is on the ultra soft, so the Gort's going to have to be careful with that, as Shug M is on softer tyres. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Shug M is going to be able to close, because those tyres may be worn. So Chelsea Boy in the lead of this race. 4.4 separates him and Geordie Davey, but that gap is closing. So what does he do? It's only 8 seconds between himself and Darren Sinclair. My mind thinks that he's going to try and make it to the end on those soft tyres, because that's really the only strategy he's got left now. As we move into lap 23, so we've got 14 laps left of this race, and I don't think those soft tyres are going to last that long. But we will see towards the end of the race what Chelsea Boy decides to do, whether he puts on a set of ultra softs towards the end of the race. But Geordie Davey here is closing that gap to Chelsea Boy, and if he's going to the end of those super softs, he has a long way to go, but with 14 laps on those super softs, it's doable. It's doable. Darren Sinclair in 3rd place. Is he closing on Geordie Davey, I wonder? He might be, I'm not quite sure. No, he's not. He's just lost 3/10 to Geordie Davey in that timing loop alone. Showgame is falling behind from the Gort though, as Invader Zippo is on the move now. He's side by side with Rocket Queen with the DRS, and Invader Zippo has made the pass on Rocket Queen, and he's got a second DRS zone to pull away now. On the soft tyres now, he'll try and close down on W4. Unless Rocket Queen has something to say to him down this straight. I don't think he does, no. No, he's out of range and he hasn't got DRS. So Invader Zippo moves up to P7 as Geordie Davey sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:19.2. As he closes immensely on Chelsea Boy. So 13 laps remain in this race. And the Gort now goes fastest, 1:19.1. So, well, don't rule him out towards the end of the race, that's for sure. I'll try not to go overboard with any celebrations because there are a lot of penalties to add up as well. Yes, at the moment, Chelsea Boy leads the way. There you can see Geordie Davey is closing that gap as Darren Sinclair is starting to fall behind. And really, he started to fall into the clutches of the Gort. He may only be 10 he's 10 seconds behind, but I wouldn't put that past him too much. As we're seeing here, White Samba closing down on Titium. And with the DRS open, is he going to have a try down the inside? From that far back, it's going to be risky, but no, he definitely thinks better of it and decides to wait before attacking. Meanwhile, we have got Chelsea Boy coming down the main straight. Does Geordie Davey have DRS? I don't think he will. No, he won't. So we'll go back on board with White Samba as he closes on Titium, trying to just use as much of the track to use as an acceleration point. And into turn 6 now, the Gort 1:18.7. He is pushing like mad as he tries to close in on Darren Sinclair. And we have seen White Samba here pushing the car to its limits as well, as the car just struggles to even stay on the track. But he is closing. And he will have, well, on his steering wheel there, it did say pits, so, well, is he going to visit the pits this lap? I can only assume so. And he's going to ignore his engineer, which he is. So, into the DRS zone now. We've got Chelsea Boy here as well. But we'll have a stay on board with these two, scrapping it out so far. As now we'll hop straight back with Chelsea Boy and Geordie Davey here. As now Geordie Davey is within DRS zone. And what will he do now? Will he try and go up the inside? Is he going to stay in the slipstream for as long as possible? He'll open the DRS now, and he will go and try and make this move. This is for the lead of the race now. Geordie Davey in the slipstream of Chelsea Boy, pulls to the right hand side, down the inside, and makes the move stick. Geordie Davey takes back the lead of the race. And Chelsea Boy can't really do much about that, as Geordie Davey will have DRS coming down the second straight as well. But he's got to be careful though, because Darren Sinclair isn't too far behind, and that is a huge championship battle between the two of them. And the Gort as well, towards the end of the race, watch out for him. As long as he doesn't burn out those tyres too much, he should be looking for a fight towards the end of the race. W4 there moves up to 5th place as Shug M exits the pits on super soft tyres. That was his last stop of the race. As White Samba now, you see Rocket Queen come into the pits. White Samba still on the back of Titium, and Rocket Queen has decided to retire from the session. So that is him done for the day. As we see now, White Samba still on the back of Titium and hasn't been able to find a way past so far. They are both on the same compound of tyre. That may be why. At the moment though, they are still battling away. We have yellow flag in sector 1. That will be for Rocket Queen retiring. So pull to one side. His AI will anyway. And a lovely shot from the helicopter here as White Samba goes through the S's. And look how much more speed he's carrying. And that was almost too easy from White Samba there to get past Titium. And well, he's made the move and he's up into P8 at last. Darren Sinclair, the championship leader, 3.5 behind Chelsea Boy as we head into the latter part of this race now. But Geordie Davey is pulling away. Darren Sinclair is closing in, and Chelsea boy, I believe that was a bit of McLaren front wing, and it was. Oh my goodness. Well, are we going to have more drama into this race? Yes, we are, because Chelsea boy can't keep it on the track. He'll try and defend as hard as he can, but it's not going to last for too long, as Darren Sinclair, well, Chelsea boy here will dive into the pits, and surely there's only one tyre he's going to put on. He's going to put on a set of Ultra Softs and try and just blast it to the end of the race. They have the front wing ready for the McLaren man, and the Ultra Softs are already there, look. As on goes a new front wing, and how much time is this going to cost him, and how many points is this going to cost him in the championship? Away he goes. Where is W4? He's coming into the stadium section now, so he should rejoin in front of W4 as he rounds the final corner now. And yes, Chelsea does rejoin comfortably in front of W4. So now he just has to try and make every lap count. Adding to that, he can't let his tyres go off too much either. So that is going to be a huge task now for Chelsea boy. But what can he do now? The Gort there making a mistake, as well, yeah, he's made a mistake there, and that may invite Chelsea boy to try and close the gap a little bit. Has the gap closed? No, it hasn't. 19.1 still the gap between the two of them. It's down to 9.2. As I saw there, a slight bit of rain. Well, as if this race couldn't get dramatic enough, the rain has started to fall here. It's starting to spit. As Shug M there, closing in, is going around the outside of W4 there. As they head towards the S's now. Big battle between the two of them. As Shug M trying to go around the outside, he's lost it. Can he keep the car in check? No, he can't, and heads for the wall, and is out of the race. Well, that is going to be Shug M going straight to the stewards for that one. I'm not sure what happened there between the two of them, or how much contact there was, but W4, no damage to him. He'll carry on. But a huge shame for Shug M, as he was just trying to get past. He's out of the race, into the wall. Chelsea boy, though, 5 seconds behind the Gort. And here he is. This is the one I wanted. Chelsea boy, 4.6 behind the Gort now. Now, this is important. He needs to make this time work because, well, for all intents and purposes, he needs to make those Ultra Soft work as much as possible in the little time the track is dry, if he's going to make this stint work. But, well, Geordie Davey probably just wanted a nice, easy race towards the end, but well, he's not going to get that now with the rain falling. Just how long will it take for people to go on to the intermediate tyres? Or, with 7 laps to go, are people going to try and just get to the end on the tyres they're currently on? This is the huge decision that drivers will now have to make towards the end of the race. Well, drama right towards the end there. Invader Zippo on the soft tyres. And just wait for the bottom left corner, because that's when you're going to see, well, the Gort has come into the pits now. Is he going to be the first person on the inters? Yes, the team have the intermediate tyres ready. The Gort feels it's ready. The Gort feels the time is now for those intermediate tyres. He's got nothing to lose, he feels. He's going to be first in. And he'll probably have been talking so much to his engineer, saying, when's the right time, when's the right time? Well, they both feel the time is now. So the Gort now watches lap times as W4 comes into the pits now. Is he going to put on a set of intermediates? Having a look, yeah, yes, they are green wall tyres. On goes some intermediates. And he will save a 5-second penalty before the jack goes up. Let's have a look at how the Gort is faring out there on those intermediate tyres. Well, the pit icon is still there, so that, I'm assuming that means that the team don't want him out there. So what happens is the computer tries to work out the best strategy for you, and well, it clearly seems that the game doesn't think it's ready for intermediates yet, as just a real lack of grip out there. But Geordie Davey in the pits, he's going for the intermediate tyres. Now Darren Sinclair's in the pits, he's going to go for the inters as well. Well, Chelsea boy needs to do the right thing here. Is he going to pit for those intermediate tyres? There they go for Darren Sinclair. DRS is disabled. It's now time. So the Gort there might have just gained a huge amount of time on the leaders. As Chelsea Boy heads into the pit, and luckily for him the game resets him to make sure he's in the pit lane correctly. But here he comes into the pits, and he's going to put on some inters as well. So let's have a look at the Gort here. As he's on those inters, he was the first person onto the intermediate tyres. But did he pit just too early? Has he got the advantage on Chelsea Boy? I think he has. Well, they're going to be side by side as Chelsea Boy exits the pit lane here. And Chelsea Boy remains just ahead of the Gort. How close is that to keep on the podium right now? But is this where Darren Sinclair decides he's going to turn up the heat a little bit? 5.9 between him and Geordie Davey with 6 laps to go. Well, 5 and a bit now to go until the checkered flag. And Geordie Davey here just needs to keep it on the track. As we try and ride on board with somebody. I've lost my cursor. There he is. my very important cursor. But the Gort here fighting Chelsea Boy there. And, well, he did lose the back end slightly. Not sure if there was contact there or not. But the Gort is not going to take that line down. As the Geordie Davey here is struggling in these conditions. Darren Sinclair is thriving in that. Well, actually, no, he's not. Oh, yes, he is. 3.5 now. The gap was 7. It's down to 3.5. I highly doubt it was that the gap was that big, but there we go. But the Gort here now, resting on the back, resting on his laurels for now, as he'll look for the perfect opportunity to try and attack Chelsea Boy. Round the final corner he goes. And onto this main straight now. Here we'll have the slipstream, no more DRS of course, because the weather is atrocious out there now. But can the Gort stick with Chelsea Boy? I don't think he can. Not quite, no. He'll stay behind him for another lap. Darren Sinclair though, as a Sauber there, gets right out of the way. That is White Samba, who has not pitted yet. Well, that is a huge surprise. As he runs wide here, he's the only person out there on slick tyres. So, well, I mean, if he wants to, that's fine. But I don't think they're the best tyres out there for those conditions. As Darren Sinclair is closing massively now on Geordie Davey. Geordie Davey may be about to see his race win go up in tatters here. It is not over yet. The Gort now right on Chelsea Boy's tail. As these cars set up for the dry now have to race in these wet weather conditions. It's an entirely different skill as Chelsea Boy runs slightly wide. The Gort slightly loses the back end as the drivers just try and get those cars as quick as possible, sacrificing everything, including a bit of oversteer. As we see here, the Gort right on the tail of Chelsea Boy. Anything you could do, I could do better, says the Gort, as they head round the last corner. But has the Gort got the exit right though? It seems like he has. He is closing. No, he's not. Never mind that. 1.1 now separates them. Darren Sinclair as well is closing in on race leader Geordie Davey with 4 laps to go. And Darren Sinclair in the wet is an unstoppable force sometimes. He just seems to find the pace where no one else can. He's just a little bit braver than anybody out there. But as you can see now on the interval, Chelsea Boy has stabilised that gap to Darren Sinclair. It's 27.8. Well, last time it was. But yeah, Darren Sinclair could just seem to find those bits of track where there's just slightly more grip than anybody else. He can just be a little bit braver on the brakes as well, and that adds up to a huge amount. But as you can see, Darren Sinclair not far away from Geordie Davey. Geordie Davey will cross the line with 3 laps to go. And, well, what will happen here? These two are going to battle it out now. 3 laps remain of the Mexico Grand Prix. And we are going to see soon who is going to take the victory. The penalties will add up, though. Don't forget that. But on track, are we about to see a really, really big battle between the 2 leaders for this lead of the race? Geordie Davey, the gap between them now is 0.8 of a second. as that's not the best camera angle we want to try and watch this battle from, but it's the camera angle the game has given us. There's a better one, as Darren Sinclair is closing in on Geordie Davey, and there's still yellow flags where Heffy crashed out of the race. So the game is a little bit glitched there, but you can't overtake through there, so that will be a saving grace for Geordie Davey. As the yellow flag period starts around about here, you'll see the green lights in a minute, as there they are, and Darren Sinclair's going to have a go round the outside. Has he done it before the green flag zone though? I think he has, and he has to give the position back. Geordie Davey though runs slightly wide, and these two are going to go battle it out on the main straight now. It's all about getting the exit of the last corner right, and Darren Sinclair looks to have nailed it down. Can Geordie Davey do anything to defend the lead of the race? The lead he's worked so hard for. But Darren Sinclair in the slipstream now. Geordie Davey's going to defend the inside line. And that's the best place you want to be, because that will become your best friend. But no, Darren Sinclair, with a higher top speed, takes the lead of the race. With 2 laps to go, I'm heartbroken for Geordie Davey. He did so well in that dry period, but when it starts to rain, that's when Darren Sinclair really is in another class of his own. But with 2 laps to go though, anything can still happen. Geordie Davey just has to keep his foot in, as Darren Sinclair here has a multitude of penalties. So as long as Geordie Davey stays within a reasonable distance, he could still win this race. But Darren Sinclair knows he has to push like a madman if he wants to keep this win, because of the time penalties. We're not sure how much Geordie Davey has in terms of time penalty. We're not sure if he has any at all, but we will find out towards the end of the race once they cross that start-finish line. You can see the yellow flags waving there, then immediately after that is the green light. So that is when you can overtake, and there was no penalty there to say that Geordie Davey overtook under yellow flag. So, well, that's a fair move then along that start-finish straight then. And Geordie Davey will find himself 2 seconds back over a lap. But we're on to the final lap of this race, in a race which has started with drama, has pretty much ended with drama too, as it started to rain. But take nothing away from this race. We may have only got half the people we started with in this race. Take nothing away from the drama from this race that's happened today. But Darren Sinclair finds himself in the lead of the race with only a lap to go. And all he has to do now is try and push towards the end and hope that those penalties don't come back to bite him. As he comes through turn 6 now, which really should be turn 6 and 7 because of the double apex, but never mind then. Into the S's now, which you have to take very easy now. As into 7, 8, 9 and 10. They are such high speed corners in the dry, but in the wet, just stay away from those curbs. They're not your friend out there. But as Darren Sinclair now will head down towards turn 12 and into the stadium section, you'll see that confetti I was talking about in the pre-race greet you. There they are. There's that confetti stream. Darren Sinclair rounds these final few corners now. He rounds that final corner the last time around. Darren Sinclair heads towards the line. He'll cross the line first. But what about the others? Geordie Davey will cross the line and he finishes ahead of Darren Sinclair through penalties. Geordie Davey is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix. Chelsea boy there in 3rd place. What will happen to him? He's got a few penalties as well. Not sure about the Gort as well. But we'll see Chelsea boy here come round the final corner on towards the start-finish straight now. He'll take the checkered flag for 3rd place. Where will the Gort finish? He finishes in front of him. Chelsea boy demoted through penalties. Denied a podium. The Gort will finish in 3rd place. As we see now, White Samba will finish in 8th place there. W4 is going to be in 5th place. Invaders Hippo and Titium are the last people to... Titium will be the last person to cross the start-finish line. W4 then rounds the last corners as he takes the checkered flag. He'll cross the line in 5th place. But how will that work with penalties? Invader Zippo there. You can see how close he is. Can he cross the line? Yes, he can, but he will be in 6th place classified. Titian round the final corner. He'll come up to the line in 7th place. Your winner today is Geordie Davey. Well, out they come onto the podium. It's Geordie Davey who will take his first win in the series. Darren Sinclair in 2nd, and the Gort finishes in 3rd for Williams. Now let them enjoy the champagne. They've deserved it. A truly dramatic race, and when the top 12 drivers have penalties, you know how exhilarating this race was. Your unofficial results then: Geordie Davey wins the race, Darren Sinclair 2nd, the Gort in 3rd, Chelsea Boy 4th, W4 in 5th, Invader Zippo 6th, Watatitium in 7th, White Samba 8th, Sugar M in 9th, and a whole load of retirements that I don't know who was driving for them. But that'll do it for Mexico. As we head onto the home stretch now, 2 races left. We will head to round 19 for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And if my math serves me well, 2nd place scoring 18 points and 4th place scoring 12. That is 6 more points to the lead of Darren Sinclair. So as we look at the drivers' standings, I'm looking at them now. And so if my maths are correct, then Geordie Davey's win puts him well up the table. But the championship lead now is up to 34 points. Yes, 34 points. So the ball is firmly in Darren Sinclair's court. Obviously, we'll do some maths and we'll work out if Darren Sinclair can clinch the title in Brazil. It's entirely possible. But that's it for round 18. Round 19, Brazil, the penultimate race of the season. The championship can be clinched there, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Until then, though, thank you for watching. Until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.